Hey bookworms and constant readers, welcome back to the channel. Today it's all about The Beast in Aisle 34 by Darren Doyle. I should have had this out last week, but we've had tons of internet issues in our area. Supposedly they're doing like upgrades or something. We were totally without internet for 2 days, and then when it did come back it was horrible. And then I got a new camera lens, and I went to record this like around Wednesday or Thursday, and I didn't have a charged battery, so that put it off. But today we're gonna do it. I haven't seen too many reviews for this on BookTube, and it gets mixed reviews on Goodread. But I'm really excited for this one because, as you'll hear me say in a minute, why I'm excited for this one. But first thing we do, as always on the channel when it comes to reviewing books, is look at the cover. I am a big believer in you can judge a book by its cover. That's why I'm so excited about this, because I believe this is the first book on the channel that actually puts that to the test. So I knew nothing about this book when it came out. I never heard of the author. I just saw this cover in the bookstore and thought, that is a great cover. I love the cover, the bright yellow, the red werewolf, the little name tag. Yeah, total 5 out of 5 on the cover. So I picked this up. I read the synopsis, which we'll do next, and I thought, that sounds like a fun read. And this is one of those books that, the reason I say that every video, this is why. I knew nothing about this book. And if it wouldn't have had this really eye-catching, cool cover, I probably would not have bought it. But yeah, total 5 out of 5 on the cover. So let me read the synopsis. It says, Sandy Kurtz has problems. He's got a baby on the way, his wife doesn't love him, and he's struggling to find passion or purpose at his big box retail job. And once a month he turns into a werewolf. In Darren Doyle's deft hands, Sandy's story is a tall tale for our times, an absurd and darkly comedic take on toxic masculinity, small-town America, and the terror of not knowing who you are or who you're capable of becoming. Join us on the trip. Feel the power of the full moon as it turns you into a carnivore capable of ruling the wilds of rural Michigan. Taste the rich blood of a pulsing animal heart. Feel it cascade down your face as you transform into what you always wanted to be. Enter the wolf. And that's basically what this book is about. This is funny at times. It's sad at times. So you don't have a lot of characters in this book. It basically centers around Sandy, the main character. And Sandy, he works at a Lowe's. He really doesn't like his job. He went to college just because he thought he needed to. He has a degree in history, but he doesn't use it. He doesn't really care about it. He just did it because basically it was easy. And he found out that his wife was cheating on him, and this was like something that was never resolved, because he goes out for a walk the night that he finds out, and he gets attacked by a werewolf, and that's how he becomes a werewolf. And this attack was so vicious that it put him in a coma. And when he came out of the coma, his wife's parents had bought them a house, and the apartment that he used to live in is long gone. Now he has this house. And they just kind of like went on with their life. And he's trying to like come up with all these excuses to get his wife out of the house or get out of the house every time there's a full moon, because he doesn't want her to know that he's a werewolf, and he's afraid that if she's around that he'll eat her. And so the first 50 or so pages deals with all these problems, and then he has an even bigger problem that comes up. So there's some Bigfoot hunters that show up in his woods. His woods are these woods behind his house. That's where, when he turns into a werewolf, he goes and he eats squirrels and deer, and he stays away from people and towns so he doesn't eat them. And they're setting up all these cameras and they're making all this noise, and he can't hunt anymore. All the animals have been scared away. And so in this story, when a werewolf doesn't get its fill, the next day it's like it has a really like bad like hangover. He feels horrible. He feels sick. And so he has to find some other place to go. Well, then he joins this LARPing group. And if you don't know what LARPing is, look it up. It's a bunch of people that they get together, and it's kind of like live action, like Dungeons and Dragons. It's really no different than people that do like World War One or World War II reenactments, or like Civil War reenactors. But this is like fantasy based, and people make a lot of fun of them. I think it's kind of funny that they get made fun of, but Civil War reenactors don't. But okay, whatever. So he joins this group because they go out in the middle of nowhere, and they do this like over a weekend, and there's like quests you have to follow, and everybody's in character and everything. And he ends up doing something, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to ruin it for you, that like changes his whole life, and he has to go on the run. And then he gets caught by this group of people who supposedly take care of werewolves like Sandy has become. And now he's in like even bigger trouble with these people. And it turns into this whole thing. The ending is kind of far-fetched, and there's really no explanation on why the story ends the way it ends. It kind of tells you all along, but the reasoning doesn't make any sense. What happens to Sandy doesn't make any sense. And the ending, I think, is where the book really, it really kind of falls apart. When I first read it, I was like, okay, that was weird. I'm a little confused, but okay, it's what the author wanted. And now that I've got to think about it for like a week and a half, I'm like, yeah, the ending was kind of bad. Like, it could have been explained better, but it wasn't. And so that's my like I put a very different review on my Goodreads, and if you've read that, you're probably wondering, like, what changed. And it's because I had time to like sit and reflect on this book. And usually when I finish a book, I go to Goodreads, and while it's fresh in my mind, usually it's like the next day, I write what I think about the book. But since I've had like a week to kind of digest it and think it over, I think the ending could have been better. It could have been different. What Sandy does, what he becomes, like, makes no sense. So that was my only bad thing about it. I think I put in my Goodreads that I couldn't really think of anything negative about the book. But it's not like oh my God, you have to read this book. But it is a fun, entertaining read. It's only 280 pages. So it's not a terribly long book. I think it took me like 4 days total to read it. It's 287 pages. If you're looking for a fun, entertaining, kind of horror comedy, definitely check out Darren Doyle, The Beast in Aisle 34. I've never heard of this author. I looked him up. He has written other books. He is a English professor at a college in Michigan. I don't remember which one. But that's all I got for you in this one. It's a short, sweet book. It's got some funny parts. There's some sad parts. Sandy is a very, very confused individual. But yeah, Darren Doyle's The Beast in Aisle 34. That's all I have for you in this book. Not too many people, at least that I follow, have mentioned this book on BookTube. So kind of surprised by that I actually got a first out here. So I didn't see anybody else do it. I'm almost finished with book 2 of Victor Hugo's Les Mis, so that video will be coming hopefully next week. And I started Stephen King's Finders Keepers, which is book 2 of the Bill Hodges trilogy. Book 1 was Mr. Mercedes. So if you want to see that video, go check that out. Till next time, read more books.